who truly owns history? The answer surprises many. And for every artifact display, thousands remain unseen. The debate centers on access versus exclusive stewardship. BD public museums are tasked with universal education and preservation. They function as communal libraries for our shared past. On here, scientific data and cultural narrative are freely shared. The museum democratizes discovery for researchers everywhere. But this open access fuels subsequent scientific advancement. And now that we understand public mandates, let's explore private stewardship. The private collections often promise superior, dedicated preservation environments. Wealthy patrons can invest without bureaucratic delay or public pressure. And this intensive focus ensures survival for generations to come. Funding for restoration is immediate, often sourced from personal fortunes. But stewardship often translates into exclusive, proprietary knowledge. And the primary goal shifts from public education to private asset accumulation. This creates knowledge silos, limiting scholarly research potential. If the owner is secretive, the science remains trapped within the object. The public loses the contextual understanding these objects generate. But now that we see the divide, let's explore the ethical middle ground. Many private collectors now engage in temporary loans for exhibitions. This allows the public to view masterpieces, albeit briefly. A digital documentation is another crucial bridge built across this gap. High-fidelity 3D models can be created and released online. This democratizes the object's form, if not its material reality. For scholars can study the digital twins without risking the original. A transparency in provenance, the object's journey, is key to ethical ownership. Private owners must document the who, what, and where clearly. Added or legally binding agreements should enforce future accessibility clauses. They consider the artifacts deliberately hidden, not just the masterpieces. Fourth, these secondary items often contain crucial scientific context for the primary piece. A private collection, by definition, limits the ensemble view. Museums, however, face their own pressure points regarding curation. And even public institutions suffer from backlog, items too fragile to display. Curatorial decisions involve resource allocation and narrative priority. And the public display choice is inherently subjective, even in public trusts. And what stories are amplified, which perspectives are silenced by display limits. If a private collector owns it, the narrative direction is singular. The greatest ethical challenge is stifling the collective scientific conversation. We must balance the right to own against the need to know. Preservation techniques, regardless of ownership, require specialized, costly intervention. Both environments demand rigorous control over temperature and humidity levels. The large-scale scientific heritage often requires infrastructure beyond private means. The museums possess the engineering knowledge for long-term structural management. The expertise pool is vastly deeper within established institutional networks. But consider items related to shared global scientific breakthroughs. But whose story gets told when the artifact crosses multiple national borders? The private sales obscure this crucial geopolitical and cultural pathway. And the ideal scenario empowers the object as scientific narrative first. What this means, science access supersedes sentimental or financial value. A truth, especially scientific truth, benefits from open peer review constantly. Seclusion guarantees preservation, but risks obsolescence of insight. Public institutions are accountable to society for their curatorial choices. A taxpayer support implies a public right to stewardship oversight. The collector's contribution is vital, but should it grant permanent obscurity? And the ethical synthesis leans toward shared custodianship, mediated by transparency. Private items should be cataloged and made digitally searchable immediately. The individual collector must accept the responsibility of temporary guardianship. The scientific community needs pathways to integrate every piece of the puzzle. When artifacts move freely between private care and public view, knowledge thrives. Ultimately, the greatest ethical success is when history becomes everyone's laboratory.